Hello, good evening. It's Friday. This is over the Arsenal Women's Channel. This is, of course, Richard Andreas Talk AWFC. What a busy week it's been, and what a busy week it is coming up. There's loads, of course, to look back on. Mixed results, of course, in the two cup games that we had this week. And it is, of course, a massive, massive week, isn't it? Chelsea tomorrow at Stamford Bridge, and, of course, the start of the FIFA Champions Cup, which of course starts in midweek as well. So lots and lots to get through, and we will get started the other side of this intro. And, of course, joining as always is, of course, the Lord himself, Lord Andreas.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
How are you doing this week?
Oh, not bad at all. But as you said, mixed feelings about our latest results. Yeah, I think we have a lot to discuss. The last two games. Looking forward to the next 2-3 games. Yeah, it's a difficult situation we are in, and yeah, sometimes you think now it's getting better. Now we've got the turnaround, and then the next time it's getting worse again.
It seems to be the story of the season, really, doesn't it? I suppose in many ways, but you know, obviously there's still a lot to look forward to. There's still a lot to play for, but we'll go back, of course, to last weekend and the first of our two big cup games, and not a bad result in the end. Now, of course, we mentioned last week, didn't we, how important the FA Cup is or should be for us. You know, the tournament we've won the most. We haven't won it for, it will be 10 years this year if we don't win it. So, you know, we wanted to have a good run. It wasn't an easy draw. A WSL team, yes, we were at home, but it could have been much easier. But in the end, we got the result done, maybe not as convincingly as we could have done. We took a while to get going in terms of scoring goals, breaking them down. But in the end, we got the victory, you know, two well-worked goals. Kim Little at the heart of both of them. And, you know, it was, I mean, it was an all right performance, actually, wasn't it? We didn't play badly. We didn't play brilliantly. It was somewhere in between, but we did enough to get the job done. And in the FA Cup in particular, that's all it's about, isn't it? It's just getting into the hat for the next round. And that's what we managed to do. And yes, there was one or two moments in the game, but I thought overall we never looked really like we were going to lose that game. I didn't feel, and in the end we got the result. I mean, Andreas, what did you make of the performance? Because you know, it was all right, wasn't it? It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't terrible. It was somewhere in between, but we got the job done, didn't we?
Exactly, it wasn't brilliant, but in the end we won 2-0, and yeah, we said it last week. In cup games, in knockout games, in the end it only counts that you win, that you progress to the next round. Yeah, it was better than than we played before, but it was not as good as we all would wish that the team performs. Especially the first half was, we had some chances, but how can I say, the pressure was not high enough to score. And it was a game at halftime. You could think, oh, maybe we'll go to extra time. But then and we got it done. And as you said, Kim Little, once again, player of the match. And you can't say it often enough. She's 35. She's the heart of the team. And not only she controls everything, she's leading by example. She's a role model for the younger players, and now she's scoring goals. She assists, brilliant assist, and then she's there to score a goal. Fantastic. I think Kim was player of the match, but also Smilla Holmberg could have been player of the match. Very good performance. She had to come in very early when Foxy went out. with his head injury. Fortunately, no concussion as it seems. But Smilla had to come in, and she fitted in as if she's here for months, not only for 2 weeks. And her dynamic, her going forward and crosses, very good. These two, for me, were the outstanding players, Kim and Smilla. And in the end, it was better than I expected. I said 1-0, so it was 2-0. But not to forget that Villa had their chances. I think there were 2 or 3 situations where you say they must score. And so we were a bit lucky to keep the clean sheet. But in the end, next round, and it's Bristol City, it looks good that our run in the FA Cup is not over so soon. And when you heard the interviews after the game, I think everybody is willing to have a good run in the FA Cup, and the team wants to perform good in this competition. So I was confident with what we did, and and we were successful. What can you expect more from a knockout game?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was never going to be easy. But the second goal was important, wasn't it? Because remember what happened in the league game against Aston Villa, where we were 1-0 up and then conceded right at the end. And while it was only 1-0, there was always that danger, wasn't there, that could happen again. So it was good to get the second goal. Smilla Holmberg's had such a great start to her life at Arsenal. The first two performances. Obviously Man United in the league, she came on and did well. Against Aston Villa, she came on. She played most of the game really in the end due to the injuries to Foxy. So, she's so positive, isn't she? She gets the ball. She just wants to run, go past the defender, get to the byline, whip a cross in. And most of her crosses are fantastic. We don't maybe get enough bodies on the end of most of them, unfortunately. But maybe that's something we can work on. Now she's putting that ball in the box. We can work on getting players in there to attack it and get on the end of them, because so many great crosses. And she could have had 2 or 3 assists in that game if people had got on the end of the ball she put in. So, the only signing we've made up till now, and it's certainly been a really positive one, because she's looked really, really, really good, hasn't she? So that's great to see. I'm still not totally sure of what she's like defensively, because she's not really been tested massively defensively yet. But going forward, she's amazing. She's almost. I said it last week. She's almost playing like a winger. When you look at the way she plays, she just gets the ball, wants to go forward and attack, and that's great. It's a great attribute to have. But obviously, her primary job is as a fullback is to defend. And I'm sure there'll be other games later in the season, potentially coming up quite soon, that she might have a little bit more defending to do. So let's see, how she can cope with that. But certainly so far, brilliant. What a signing she's proving to be. Fantastic. She doesn't look as though she's phased by it at all. She's still only very young, come into the team and just been brilliant. So you've got to give massive credit to her for that. And obviously credit to the club for picking her as the signing that they wanted in that position, because she's brilliant. So, that was the real highlight for me of that game, actually. Her performance again, she was brilliant. Like you said, Kim Little, the fact that we're still having to rely on her so much is a little bit of a concern, as we've said a few times. But ultimately, you can't knock her performances. This season, she's really got back towards her best. She had a few injury issues, and she maybe wasn't quite there last season for a lot of it. But this season, she's really, really pushed on. She's fit. She's playing really well. And while she keeps producing performances like this, she's got to be in the team, hasn't she? Let's be honest. So, brilliant from her. I was pleased that Stina got the goal as well, because she works hard up there. Sometimes she doesn't always get a lot of great service. So it was great that it was her that got the opening goal, which was important. That's what she does. You play her, she'll score. So, it was satisfactory. I kind of left the game feeling a little bit, it wasn't a fantastic performance, but cup football doesn't matter too much, does it? Cup football is about winning, and it is a favourable draw in the next round. We'll be massive favourites to go through, and it's the start, hopefully, of a really good FA Cup run that can, fingers crossed, take us all the way to Wembley in May, which would be fantastic. So, but at the end of the day, you have to be in the draw to have any chance, and we did the job. Yes, the performance needs to be better than that if we're going to, when it gets to the further down in all the competitions that we're in, we're going to have to play better. But ultimately, you have to get the result you need, and we did. And it was satisfactory, and yeah, it was job done. And yeah, the FA Cup draw, not the most glamorous tie, but it's obviously a game that we're going to be massive favourites to progress. And that's, at the end of the day, at this stage of the FA Cup, you really just want to be going through. We're going to get bigger tests when we get further into the competition. We're going to start getting some of the bigger teams, and we know that we're going to have to play better. But let's get as far as we can and go hopefully all the way. But that was a good start to the top competition. And I have to say, actually, I do want to give a mention to Annick Bauber, because I wasn't sure about her in her early performances earlier on in the season when she played in pre-season. Some of the other performances, I'm thinking I wasn't convinced by. But I have to say, the last 2 or 3 games she's come in the team, she's had to play because Daphne's been injured. And I think she's done really well, actually. She's made some crucial saves. The save against Man United in the league game in particular, earlier in that game, she made 1 or 2 against Aston Villa. I think she's proven to be actually a really good goalkeeper. And I think I was a bit hasty to maybe judge her so early and maybe not give her the credit. And now she's playing regularly. You can see she's good. And for me, now we've got 2 goalkeepers that I think we can rely on. Obviously, Daphne, we know how good she is. And she's coming back now. She was on the bench the other night. And now with Annick Bauber as well, I do feel as though she's a really good goalkeeper to have, a really steady number 2 that you can bring in when you need to, and she'll do a good job. And I'm really impressed with what I've seen of her, actually. I mean, obviously, you knew a little bit more about her, obviously, because she's come from the Bundesliga. But I mean, what have you made of her performances so far for Arsenal? Because I think she's done really well.
Yes, she has grown into the team and into her game. I think her first match against Liverpool, you could see that she's not confident, or she's not. She doesn't know the pathways, etc. And but she has grown from game to game, and of course, clean sheets helped, and a good save like against United. So I agree. She's a good number 2, and I'm much more confident with Anneke as our number 2 than I was last season with Manu as number 2. It reminds me how she made her way in the German Bundesliga. She was first choice goalkeeper at Werder Bremen and had a very good season. Then she was transferred to Wolfsburg, and she started there as number 3. And then, after half a year, suddenly in the winter break, she was number 1 goalkeeper and benched Merle Froms, the former national number 1. So she must be a talented and good goalkeeper, but it seems as if she needs time to get into the team, or to get known with the other players, or the style of playing from the team. I think this speaks for her career so far. She needs always a bit of time, and now she's here 6-7 months, and as you said, we have a good goalkeeper with her, a good number 2. But of course, I want Daphne to play against Chelsea on Saturday. But if something happens to Daphne, or she's not fit, or picks up an injury, then we can say, oh, there's Annick Bauber. She's okay.
Yeah, and I think last season we were wrapping Daphne in cotton wool because we couldn't afford to have her injured because it was Manu coming in. Whereas now, I wouldn't be really that concerned. If Daphne has to miss a game here and there due to an injury, or because you want to give her a rest or whatever it is, and Annika comes in for like cup games and stuff like that, I actually don't mind, because she's not going to, I don't think she's going to let us down. I think she looks really a good goalkeeper, and it's good. You need to have 2 decent goalkeepers, I think. It's a really important position, and we've seen plenty of times in the last couple of years when Manu's played, that if your goalkeeper's not quite up to it, it can cost you massive amounts, and that's what's happened. So I'm really, really pleased, and I say I was not convinced by her at the beginning, I've got to be honest, but she's certainly proved me wrong, and that's great to see, and I'm so happy for her. And it's good news for us as well, because Daphne's had 1 or 2 injury issues in the last couple of seasons. She doesn't seem like she's the sort of goalkeeper that's going to be fit every single game, and she's going to miss games. She missed quite a few last season, and she's missed a lot this season now. So yeah, it's good that we've now got a goalkeeper, a second choice goalkeeper that I think we can really rely on, and that's a fantastic thing. So yeah, so well done to her, because she's come in and, you know, difficult time, you know, like you said, she maybe needed a bit. I think this run of games has actually maybe done her a world of good, because, like you said, she wouldn't have got that if Daphne was fit. She would have been on the bench. She wouldn't have played. And then if we did need her in some really important games later in the season, she might not have been ready and had that confidence. Whereas now she's played this run of games, you can see she's grown in confidence. And then now, if we do need her later on in the season in a big game, I wouldn't be worried about her coming in. I think she'd do fine, because she's been really, really good. So yeah, overall really happy, and you know, it's good to see. LG's with us there. He's going straight in there. He said, "I've seen enough. Holmberg clears Fox." I think in the attacking sense, I agree with you. I think attacking, she's fantastic. I think Emily Fox is probably at the moment looks a little bit more composed defensively, and in that position it's important. But I think going forward, you're right. There isn't much comparison, I don't think, because I think you know, Smiller's been brilliant going forward. But it's good competition to have, isn't it? That's the sort of competition we need in all positions, don't we? You want to have two great players competing with each other. They've got maybe slightly different strengths and weaknesses, and can complement each other, but can also fill in for each other. And you know, that's to be a top team. You need that kind of competition throughout the squad, and we maybe don't have it in all positions, do we? But it's a great one to have, and it's a great debate to have. But I mean, obviously Emily's still the number one choice in that position, absolutely. And you know, Smiller's still young, she's got work to do, but what a start. Fantastic. So you know, another new player who's come in and done well. So you know, we haven't made that many signings really in the sort of since the end of last season, but the ones that have come in are doing well, and that's what you want to see, don't you? At the end of the day, it's no good signing 20 players and if only one or two of them are going to prove to be good. We've signed 3 players. Olivia Smith's done really well. You know, Smith Holberg's coming done really well. Eric Ball was coming and done well. So, you know, we can't really have too many complaints with the players that we've got. Ryan says, Smiller looking a good player. Yeah, absolutely, she is. Lethal Chicken says, evening chaps, how are you tonight? We're very good, my friend. Good to see you. On the Move says, did she not let us down against you? Well, I mean, look, Daphne's made mistakes. You know, every goalkeeper in the world makes mistakes. Let's not jump on her because she's made. We will talk about the United game in a minute. Let's not jump on her for the odd mistake here and there. Every player makes mistakes. You know, Leah Williamson makes mistakes. Everybody does. But overall, when you look at, you know, how maybe nervous she looked at the beginning, she's had 4 or 5 games and she's played well. She's made mistakes in all the, well, not all the games, but she's made a few mistakes here and there. But she's playing well. Let's not just look at the one negative thing that she's done. She's had a really good game. If it wasn't for her save against Man United, we'd be out. You know, our position in the league would be really, really bad, wouldn't it, in the league game? So, Lethal Chicken says, I want Holmberg to play right wing and Emily to play right back. I must admit, the more I'm seeing her play, I'm more thinking she's more suited to being on the wing. Because when you think about it, on the right hand side, on the right wing, Beth Mead isn't a natural winger. She's always coming inside, isn't she? Because she wants to get into the box. She's not one to whip in crosses. Yeah, Chloe Kelly does when she's fit. But Chloe Kelly doesn't tend to go past the defender and cross, does she? She gets the ball and just crosses it in where she is. Whereas obviously Smilla Holmer is going past the defender, getting to the line and putting great crosses in. And the 3 of them are very different, aren't they? But yeah, I'd like to see that in a game or two, see how it works. I agree. I'd like to see her play further up the pitch. That seems to be where she's best. Treebar says, is McCabe tired or slow these days? Well, maybe a bit of both. I mean, yeah, she's looking very slow at the moment. Whether she's carrying an injury or what's going on, I'm not sure. But yeah, Katie McCabe's an issue. We'll maybe talk about that as well, actually, because yeah, she's not really playing that well, is she? So we said at the beginning, didn't we? It's been a mixed week of cup football. It was a mixed week of cup football. The Villa game went well. We got through, but we had a chance of another cup final on Wednesday night. Of course, Manchester United, the semi-final of the Subway Cup, and didn't quite work out, did it? Now, the caption there said, same old Arsenal. And in a way, it kind of was. It was a very Arsenal performance, wasn't it? Good possession, quite a few chances, not really good clear chances, half chances maybe, wasn't able to find the goal, and then we concede a daft goal and end up losing. How many times have we said this over the last few years? I mean, it was almost like a rinse and repeat of so many games that we've seen. And I actually thought in many ways the performance against United in this game was maybe better than the performance against Villa. I thought we played some good football at times in the Man United game. I thought we dominated most of it, and we had enough chances to have won. But if you're not clinical enough in the box, you don't take those chances against a team like Man United. Anything can happen, and that's 3 times now we've played them in this season and haven't scored in any of them. And we didn't. I don't know. I kind of felt when United had scored that goal just for a half time, which yes, we can look at the mistake from the goalkeeper. Of course, terrible. It's a terrible goal to concede all round. Let's be honest, awful. But once we conceded that goal, we still had all of the second half to get a goal back. But although we played quite well, I never felt we were going to score. I just never felt we were going to. We didn't have those big chances, did we? I mean, United are good defensively. They're organised. They're strong. They didn't allow us a lot of chances, really. But I don't know. It was such a frustrating game, wasn't it? Because I thought we played well enough to win, actually, over the 90 minutes. I thought we were a better team. But once again, we just can't. We're not putting our chances away when they come, are we? We're not. I don't know. We're not always making the right decisions, are we? In that final third, we're crossing when we should shoot, or we're shooting when we should cross, or we could pass and we don't. And I don't know. It's just not quite clicking. I mean, what did you make of that performance? Because I actually thought we did play pretty well overall, didn't we?
Yeah, that's the strange thing. It was not the worst performance from us, but yeah. It's the 3rd time we played United in this season, and we haven't scored a goal against them. So you can also say we haven't learned from the first 2 matches against United. I mean, there must be a learning curve, and if you run against these deep block or against this very well defending team. After the first game, after the second game, you must find solutions. And it looked as if we make the same mistakes. Yes, we played a bit better than in the league game, but not these clear-cut 100% chances that you say, how could she miss this? Or how could Tullis Joyce save this ball? No, it were a few chances, and we had more than 60% ball possession. Yes, trying something, always dominating, but that's the way United is always playing these big games. They rely on their very good organized defense, and if they don't concede, the chance that they win a game is really high. And they only need 1 goal, and they made it due to a terrible mistake. And we said something good about Annick Borbe after the Villa game. Yes, this was a terrible mistake. She must see that the pathway is not open and she can't play the ball there. But anyway, the chance was there to clear this situation. Even after this bad pass from Annike, we could have cleared the ball. And but it was the worst moment in stoppage time of the first half to concede. And you take this with you in mind. And then the second half, we dominated again. We were trying a lot, but was there a situation that you say, now we are close to scoring? No, it always looked as United will bring this 1-0 over the line. And then the second yellow card from Olivia happened that made it even more difficult. Although you have to say, we continue to dominate the game, even with 10 against 11. And the yellow card from Olivia, yes, she's young, and as Renee said, she has to learn from this. She was on a yellow card, so she can't do this. You would say, but the other side is, it seems as if Olivia Smith is treated in a different way from the referees. She gets fouled every time she's on the ball, and heavily fouled because of her pace. There's no chance to stop her, and then they foul her, and it looks terrible, and I'm sure it hurts terrible when she's fouled. And then Of course, if there is no free kick or she doesn't feel protected, of course, a young player might react in this way and might want to give a revenge foul. Yes, it happens. It shouldn't happen on this level. But if a player like Kim or Katie would have done this, I would say, how could this happen? But Katie McCabe did this against Chelsea last season. So it happens. Yes, we said terrible mistake from Anneke Borbe, and also a terrible mistake from Olivia Smith to be on a yellow and grab the United player. It was a second yellow. No discussion about this, and of course it made it even more difficult. And in the end, it was exactly the result I said last week. But I thought United would need extra time. They made it in normal 90 minutes. It's terrible. Once again, we still haven't beaten a top team. United beat Chelsea, City, Spurs, Lyon, Bayern Munich. No win against the top team. And this we should think about. And it should be a wake-up call for everybody, for the management, for the coaching staff. Yeah, something is not going right. If you are not able to beat the other top teams, you won't win anything. And and the first result is we won't win the League Cups this season.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I hadn't really thought of it that way, but you're right. We haven't beaten a top team, have we? Not since the Champions League final. And you're not going to win the big trophies unless you can beat the big teams, because you're going to have to play them, aren't you, later on in the cup competitions, as we saw a semi-final against Manchester United. And I mean, I feel kind of a little bit bad even thinking it, because I thought we played quite well and we did enough maybe on the night to have won the game. It just didn't quite happen for us. But you have to say this isn't just a one-off game. This has happened so many times this season, more than ever. You know, we mentioned the 3 games against Man United now without scoring, but there's been lots of other games as well. The Tottenham game, for example, and so many others where we look reasonably good with the ball. We keep the ball, but when it gets to the final third, we just don't seem to have that clinical edge or the ruthlessness that you need in those situations to kill those teams off and get the goals when you need them. And I thought we had enough opportunities in that Man United game. Yes, not clear chances, really. I mean, I think Leslie Russo had a good chance, didn't she, that she couldn't get on, she couldn't score with in the second half. But there wasn't many real good chances, was there? And it was frustrating from that sense. And I mean, it's not just this season we've seen performances like this. If you think back the last 2 or 3 seasons, these have been regular occurrences, haven't they? Do you remember the game we lost 1-0 against Spurs a couple of years ago at their ground when we dominated the game and conceded a daft goal and lost? And this happens. It's happened a lot. And I'm not surprised that we're seeing the Jonas problems now with Rene. I'm not surprised. It's the same problems because it's basically the same manager. In a sense, the same ideas, really. And you know, we got the bounce last season, didn't we? Her coming in had a big impact, lifted the players for a while. We were playing with a bit more freedom. We were scoring a lot more goals. And now this season, we've gone back into proper Jonas football again, which I didn't necessarily have a major issue with most of the time. But it's just the same issues now. We might as well persuaded Jonas to stay for all the difference it's made. You know, now Rene's got this longer contract she's been given, which people can argue she earned it from winning the Champions League. You can't really argue with that, I suppose. But, you know, Jonas got close to winning the Champions League with an injury-hit team a couple of years ago. So, I don't know. I just feel as though we're watching the same as we were 2 years ago. And it wasn't good enough then, and it's not good enough now. And, you know, now we're getting to the part of the season where every game matters. Every single league game matters because the more points you drop now, the less chance we've got of getting the top 3, for example. All the cup games are now coming down to the more final stages. A defeat there and you're out. You play the big teams. And, of course, we've got the Champions League to come as well soon, kicking back off again. And, again, you know, we're going to be meeting some good teams. And it's, I don't know, I can't see any difference for me to what we saw 2 seasons ago. it looks exactly the same. The football's the same. We're playing the same way. We're still missing loads of chances. We're still conceding stupid goals. We're still losing games we shouldn't lose because we're not scoring the goals at the time when we should be. And it's no different, is it? And and I think a lot of fans like Rene, and I like Rene, but were we? Is it any surprise that nothing's really changed ultimately from 2 years ago? I mean, did you feel that's fair, Andreas, or do you think Rene has maybe changed something? Because I don't really see any difference at all. To me, it's exactly the same as it was. There's no difference, and we've got some new players as well.
Now we are at a similar stage as we were short before Jonas got sacked or retired. But last season it was so floating free football, and she gave the players so much confidence. I remember 4-0, 5-0 at the Emirates, and really brilliant performances. When they scored the first goal, you knew we're gonna win this, and it's only a question of time when we score again. And this season, there's 1-0 against Brighton, 1-0 against Liverpool, 1-0 against Twente, and all these games. In the end, you are not sure if there's one mistake, one free kick for the other side, there might be an equalizer. Where is this free floating football from last season? And this was under Rene. So what has changed? Okay, to her defense, I must say she has not enough options to react. And the problem is without Leah in defense, we are not as stable as we should be. We are badly missing Chloe, and now we are missing Kyra. And so where are the options for Rene to act or to change something? When you look at our bench, there's not enough options in midfield or in the attacking line with these injuries or absence. And that's a problem. And we come back to the missed transfer window last summer, and as it seems, the missed transfer window this January. Besides Miller-Holmberg, very good signing, but it's obvious that we would need a midfielder or a winger. Even a centre back would be needed. So, but we are doing nothing. The only player which we are linked to was last week Laura Dick, another goalkeeper from Hoffenheim, German side. We don't need another goalkeeper. We would need a midfielder, and that's the most important. And we forgot to replace Wally. Even if Rene doesn't want to play with a holding midfielder or a natural number 6, then sign someone who can play as a number 8 or defensive midfielder, so that Mariana is free for the more offensive role. And we saw what happened when Kim and Leah both were not available. There's no structure in the team. So, and now, okay, Kim is available, but she didn't start against United. And I wrote to a friend when I saw the lineup, no Kim, no win. And once again, she's 35. We are relying on her. And if she's not available, if she can't start, there's no structure in the team. Where are the alternatives? Where are the options? And that's not a Rene problem or Jonas problem. That's a problem of the recruitment team. If you have only a head coach, not a manager, as in men's football, and you can't blame Rene for injuries or for absence of Kyra. So, what should she do? Maybe she would like to react or change things, but then she looks on the bench and I can't react. I can't change a system. So it's only part to be blamed to Rene, I would say.
Yes, I kind of agree. I do kind of agree with you, and I understand what you're saying, and I do feel the club in general lack ambition anyway. I think we've seen it with the men's team, the fact that we stuck with a failing manager for so long, and now we've offered another manager on the back of one success, as we did with the men's team, win one trophy very quickly, and then suddenly they're the one to stick with forever. I'm not sure if that's, we made that mistake once and we've seen to make it again. And I agree. I do think it's the club is the biggest issue. Absolutely. The structure in the club is the problem at 100%. And Rene's only got so much to work with, but it doesn't excuse the fact that we're playing exactly the same style of football. It didn't work under Jonas with the same players, and it's not going to work now. I think the biggest difference was last season, Mariona came in. Obviously, she was a new signing. She was playing further up the pitch, and that was the difference, clearly. Yeah. We were scoring goals because Mariona was up there creating havoc and, you know, scoring goals herself, creating opportunities, creating space for other players. And now, for some reason, you know, partly because Wally left her or whether it's just Rene's way, now she's playing Mariona much, much deeper. So subsequently, all our attacking excitement that we had last season has disappeared for that reason. And, you know, Jonas only got to manage with Mariona in the team for, 4 or 5 games at the start of last season before he went. So we don't know how he would have developed that. We saw what Rene did with her last season. I can't understand why that's changed. And that is a Rene issue. Rene picks the team. So that is Rene's issue. Yes, I agree. The signings have not been good enough. There's not been enough. And the comment here that I've just seen, which I actually think is probably comment of the night so far, from Treebar, says, if space aliens turned up, you'd never convince them we are European champions. And that is 100% like absolutely correct. So I think that comment alone deserves it. Because that is absolutely right. And I actually, funnily enough, I said that the other night when I was watching the Man United game, that was exactly what I said, that you wouldn't convince anybody that the team that we were that night is champions of Europe. The crowd was singing it, wasn't they? Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. It was like, well, yeah, but we don't look anywhere near like champions of Europe. We don't look like champions of anything. We look a good team. You know, we can play some neat and tidy football, but when it comes down to it, we're nowhere near good enough. We're nowhere near good enough. And yes, that's down to just the squad depth to a degree, absolutely. But I don't know. I think tactically, we're not good enough either, tactically. And that is on the manager. And I don't think we can, I'm not saying everything's Rene's fault. No, it's not. Absolutely not. It isn't. But a lot of it is Rene's fault. A lot of it is Rene's a lot of the reasons why we're playing the way that we are and we're struggling against teams that we struggle against. We're playing the same style every single game. The substitutions, almost, we said it before, look pre-planned and all things like these. These are the same issues that we're going over and over and over again on the channel every week because they're happening every week and nothing's being done. And to me, you know, surely, I mean, I don't know. You look at it and you think, look at how we were playing last season. Look at Mariona's role in the team. How can you not think that that's the best way to play now? How can you not think that's better than what we're doing at the minute? Just play her there. Play her there for 4 or 5 games. See what difference it makes. And yes, ultimately, if it doesn't make any difference, if we're still struggling to score goals, if we're still not performing to the level, then fair enough. Maybe that wasn't the reason. But at the moment, we're all going to question that because that's the only real thing in terms of structure of the team that's really changed, isn't it? Yes, okay, Leah Williamson's been missing. She is a big miss, absolutely. We know that. But, you know, and Chloe Kelly now, I suppose, though she was fit earlier in the season, didn't really get to play much. But Mariona being deeper looks like it's the biggest problem. And the managers, I thought at the start of the season, we mentioned on the show that was going to be a temporary thing. And then eventually Mariona would go back into a normal position. But it hasn't happened. Now we're in January. You know, we're over halfway through the season and it hasn't changed. And that's the first change I would make. Against Chelsea tomorrow, we'll talk about it in a minute, but that's the first change I would make. I would play Mariona in number 10. I would play her where she was playing last season, play her there, and then build the rest of the team around that. And if you've got to play an extra midfield player, you've got to take out one of the other attackers, because obviously Mariona does lose the ball sometimes in the final third of the pitch. She does that a lot. That's fine. Cover for that, compensate for it. Put another extra defensive midfield player in, put Vicky Palova in there, or whatever it might be. Work out a plan to do that. But that's got to be your first change, positive change. Do that. And she won't do it. I don't think she'll do it all season. And to me, that's a big problem. And that is unfortunately a Rene problem. But I totally agree with that. If someone just turned up at the moment and didn't know anything about women's football, watched 3 or 4 of our games, they would never have a clue that we'd won the Champions League. We were technically the best team in Europe. You'd never know. You would never know that from watching us because we just don't look like it, do we? You know, we're not even the best team in England. You know, we're not even in the we're not even top 3 best team in England when you look at it. Because although we're slightly ahead of Man United in the league, we played 3 times against them and haven't scored. So technically, they're a better team than us. But yeah, absolutely crazy, really crazy. But anyway, so also says there's a lack of urgency and precision in the final third of the pitch. We have talent, but something's not right. Yeah, we do have talent there, and it's not clicking, is it? It's not clicking. 170 Gunners, Will says, big up Andreas. I would play Fox left back and Holmberg right back, bench McCabe and sell Hines. Maybe bench Hines and sell McCabe might be a better option. Hines is younger, McCabe's at the end of her career. Maybe the other two the other way around, I'd agree with. And yes, why not try or maybe play Holmberg at left back? We have got a bit of an issue there, I think, because Katie McCabe is not this season. She's been off the level, whatever reason, and that's something that's become a bit of a problem as well, actually. So yeah, I kind of agree with you, but I would keep Hines because I think she's got a lot of potential. And Katie McCabe passed her best now. If you're going to sell anyone, sell her. I wouldn't sell her necessarily, but out of the two, if you had to pick one, I would sell Katie McCabe and keep Taylor Hines personally. But anyway, LG says we need to have a conversation about Kelly Smith. What does she actually do? Why were attackers misfiring? Just because she was a top striker and a club legend doesn't mean she's a good coach. Well, no, obviously not. That doesn't automatically mean that. I agree. But yeah, we don't really know what's going on. That's her job. And we've got a forward line of attacking players that aren't scoring. You have to look at the coach, don't you? If you're going to look at Renee, we have to look at the other coaches as well. And I kind of agree with you. What is she doing? I don't know. And is she a good coach? I don't know. We don't know what type of coach she is. We can only look at the results. And as things are going at the minute, the problem is scoring goals. She's our forward coach, and we've got players that aren't scoring. I mean, do you think Kelly Smith is maybe not necessarily the right person to be a coach in our attackers? She's a club legend. She certainly knows how to score goals herself. But is she able to pass that information to the team and get them to be more composed in front of goal? Because they're not in a minute, are they?
That's difficult to say. Last season, I would have said yes, she's the right one to teach or coach the strikers, because it worked. We were scoring a lot of goals, and Leslie was scoring, Stina was scoring, but this season it doesn't work. So is it a problem of Kelly Smith? I don't know. The other things you said, I agree. I totally agree. I was trying to find to defend Renee a bit or find a few excuses for her, but overall I agree with you. We said it a lot here in the talk, that she's lacking a plan B, or the players are there's no competition. They know I'm starting next week, I'm starting the week after, and the subs seem to be pre-planned after 60 minutes, and so that's also a problem. Yes.
Yeah, it is a problem, and I think it comes down to the fact that as a club, I said this last year before Renee was appointed, certainly before Renee was appointed full time, that if we really were serious about challenging for things, we would have gone out and got a top manager with experience at the top. Chelsea, Emma Hayes left. Who did they go and get? They gone and got Sonia Bonpastor, who's been there and done it. That's the type of level of manager we should have been looking at, not Jonas's assistant. The men's team got Pep's assistant. Think, that's going to work. Now the women's team went with Jonas's assistant. It's a lack of ambition from the club. I don't blame Renee for that. She's been offered the job and she's took it. Of course, why wouldn't you? Absolutely, of course you would. She's got to do better now. She's got it. But ultimately, going back to what you said before, I agree. The club, to me, lack ambition. We don't want to be the best in the world. We don't want to be. The appointments that we make clearly prove that we don't want to be. And I think that's ultimately the biggest issue overall. And while this remains the situation, we're always going to be quite good, and we're going to win some games, and we're going to be there or thereabouts, but no, not at that very, very top level, consistently winning the big trophies every single year. The club don't want that, I don't think. They don't seem to. They're not doing anything to enable that to happen. We're just kind of doing okay, happy with okay. Everybody seems happy with okay. The men's team are happy with okay. the women's team of fans seem happy with OK. I personally aren't happy with OK. I want us, we're the biggest club in women's football, certainly in England, and one of the biggest in Europe. There's no question. Why are we not? Why don't we have that ambition to get back to that again? Why have we let Chelsea get this head of steam over us? Why have we done that? Why have we let teams like Lyon and Barcelona dominate in Europe? Why haven't we done that? Why haven't we done that? It was all very well. We were. Oh, Andreas has gone. We were brilliant, and we were when women's football wasn't as competitive. We were competitive, so we wiped the floor of everybody. We were winning quadruples, everything else. We were winning. Now it's become more competitive. It's like the club have just got complacent. We've stayed at the same level. Everybody else has caught up and overtook us, and we're kind of treading water behind. And I think it's a lack of ambition at club level. I've got to be honest. LG says there, Sky Sports recently admitted that the club accepted an offer from London City for Mead last summer, but the player refused. Shows you that the players are too comfortable at the club. Classroom levels. Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, you could say that proves the players are comfortable. You could also say it proves that the players are happy. And if Beth Mead's happy at Arsenal, then I don't see that as a problem. I think it's important the players are happy, because you play your best football when you're in an environment that you enjoy. Yes, does it show she's comfortable? I don't know. It's not like Beth Mead is now, or even last season, was a regular starter in the team, because she wasn't. Beth Mead's one of those players I wouldn't say necessarily would feel comfortable, because she's not one of those automatic starting 11 players every week, is she? She starts a few games, but then she'll be on the bench a few games. And when Chloe Kelly was fit, her and her were rotating quite a lot. So I wouldn't necessarily say that Beth Mead's the best example of a player that is comfortable. I think she chose to stay at Arsenal because she's happy, and she enjoys being at the club, and she wants to play for Arsenal. And I actually think that's a positive thing, rather than a negative, saying that she's too comfortable. I mean, yes, maybe that's part of it. We don't know unless Beth comes out and says it. But I don't think Beth doesn't strike me as one of those players that is comfortable. She's a player that's always striving and working hard to keep improving and working for the team. So I wouldn't put Beth into that comfortable category. I think there's other players that we could label that on ahead of Beth Mead, I personally. Andreas is back with us. I don't know what happened there. Just some sort of kind of internet issue, probably, that we've seen to experience from time to time. I mean, do you think that's a fair comment about Beth, saying that maybe the fact that she chose to stay with Arsenal shows she's comfortable, or do you think it just means that she's happy here?
Yeah, she's happy here, and she wanted to stay in summer because we were the champions of Europe, and you don't leave this team. But I read this article too, and that the club has agreed to the bid from London City Lionesses, and we wanted her to move on. But that's also a problem. If you have players under contract, you can't say as a club, okay, move on, we're selling you. If the player wants to fulfill his contract, she stays. And now we have the situation that 7-8 contracts are running out this summer. So another problem from the club side. You can't make contracts that are all running out in the same year, in the same window. There's no chance to rebuild a team during these contract running times. And I don't blame Beth for it. She was playing for the best team in Europe, or for at least for the team that had won the biggest trophy in Europe. And why should she move on and go to a club who was just promoted to the WSL, was not playing Champions League when she has a contract? Yes, of course, it means she's satisfied here, and she feels well and comfortable at Arsenal. Yes, but don't blame her. If you want to blame someone, then the officials from the club who made these contracts all running out at the same time. And and another word to Beth, she's one of our better players this season. She's scoring goals, and she's at least her assists are very, very very big point this season. And we said it. Her playing intelligence is important in this season. So I think it's good that she is still here. We don't know what will happen in summer, but there will be a big turnaround and overall in summer, and that's a big problem from the club, from making all these contracts run for the same length.
Yeah, no, it is, absolutely, it is. Ryan makes a good point. He says Stanway is supposed to be the future signing. Why don't we bring her in now instead of waiting for a free? Yeah, exactly. Break it off for now. She's already said she wants to leave, or she's going to leave. So yeah, I agree. Let's get her in now. Absolutely. There's no point waiting, I don't think. But anyway, we're not sure what's going on with that. To be honest with you, I'm sure we'll find out. LG says Olivia Smith needs to be playing with better players. She won't get better playing with players like Marnham and Ford. She needs to be playing with the likes of De Mornay. Well, I mean, she's stepped up a level from Liverpool, hasn't she, now? So I think she will improve playing for Arsenal. Absolutely, she will. Yes, I'm sure, the better players that there are in the team, the better everybody's going to perform, let's be honest. But no, I mean, I think that's a fair point to a certain degree. But you've got she's still only young. I'm hoping that we can build a team around her that's going to give her that fulfill the ambition that she's got. That's what I hope is happening, because I think Olivia Smith's brilliant. But at the moment, it looks that way, I suppose, doesn't it? Anyway, we've got another comment from Ryan that says, yes, it is questionable that the ambition of the club. I'm not quite sure if we're just comfortable not pushing on to get more success. Yeah, exactly. That's what it appears like, doesn't it? Oh, well, we're playing Champions League football. That's fine. We get the income from that. We get the publicity from that. From the women's side, we're getting big crowds every home game. We're selling out the Emirates, or nearly selling out the Emirates on a fairly regular basis. We've got the biggest crowds by a mile. They're probably happy with that because it looks good. Looks good on the spreadsheet. It doesn't mean anything in terms of success on the pitch, which is what we're about. It's a football club at the end of the day. From a business point of view, I'm sure that the business is absolutely run really, really well. We're doing everything possible to generate the most amount of income, but unfortunately it isn't translating into success on the pitch regularly enough. Yes, we've won the Champions League, and that obviously can't be ignored, but yes, that lack of ambition, or it seems to be ambition, doesn't it? Greg says evidently we had the biggest profits in Europe. Why aren't we spending on the team? Exactly. Why aren't we doing it? I agree. Matthew says quality players needed. Yeah, absolutely. Matthew says Rene or any other manager can only talk. The players have to execute and improvise. Who would be expected the goalkeeper to make that mistake? Well, no, you can't. A coach can't be responsible for one individual mistake in a game. Absolutely not. But what the manager is responsible for is the tactics, the way the team sets out, when the substitutions are made, what substitutions are made, how you adapt to a game situation as it's developing. That is on the manager. Yes, the players have got to do better. I think that we know that. We've often said that. But it comes from the manager, doesn't it? The manager is responsible for the team. Otherwise, don't have a manager. Just let the players go and do their own thing. You need a manager because the manager is responsible for that team. And if that team isn't performing, that's the manager's problem. It's the manager's issue that the manager needs to sort out. Yes, above that, the club have got to do better for her and help her. Absolutely. More, 100%. But she's got this team. It's a good team. Should be doing better than we are. That's the point, isn't it? And if it isn't, then it is a manager situation. But anyway, let's see what happens. Raven says, hi, Lord Andreas. We've got Newcastle United should sign Keith Smith for Newcastle now from Ray. I don't understand what that means. Keith Smith. Who's Keith Smith? Do we know?
I have no idea what he means.
No, I don't know. Anyway, Matthew says that you could say the same with Man City or Liverpool. At any time a team could look bad, we need more new blood to rise. Yeah, raise the stands. Exactly. That's what it's about, isn't it? LG says that my concern is that our top 5 rivals seem to be getting stronger and we are the ones who are stagnating. Yeah, exactly. Spurs and United are building very good squads and Chelsea City are still strong. Yeah, no, you're right. I said that before. We're kind of almost like settling for you know, we've become what we've become, built on the success that we had when the game wasn't as competitive. Now it's more competitive. We haven't stepped up that level, have we? Other teams have stepped up, and we're now playing catch up, and we're not catching up, are we? But anyway, I mean, you know, there's still a lot to play for this season. I'm just not quite convinced that we're going to do it. Chelmer says, like it or not, we're collecting all our 3 points tomorrow. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll see, won't we? Don't be so confident, because you never know. But there you go. Chelmer also says, we're beating you and City. You certainly hope you beat City. We beat you, you beat City. That seems to be a fair trade-off, I think. Talking of which, actually, obviously it is a big game tomorrow, and it's one of the most important games of the season for me. You know, it's the team you don't want to lose to. Yeah, whatever the situation, normally it's because we're challenging them for the league title, whatever it is. It's a game we can't afford to lose. This one tomorrow, absolutely not. Now, of course, the way we've been playing, very inconsistent performances, really. We're not scoring goals, and we're playing against a team who, since they lost their unbeaten run to Everton, have been scoring and scoring and scoring almost every time they attack. So it doesn't look good, does it, on paper? We don't have a particularly good record away against Chelsea either. Yes, this game's at Stamford Bridge, which usually is at Kingdom. I know last season it was Stamford Bridge. Was the season, and the season before with the socks and all that, wasn't it? So, you know, we haven't done particularly well at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea away. We haven't done particularly well against Chelsea anyway. And we're going into the game on a bit of a downer after Wednesday night. They had a great win in the Cup semi-final away at Man City, which was a great result because Man City hadn't lost for ages. And that just shows the mentality and the ruthlessness that Chelsea have. You know, they go away to Man City, the toughest draw out of anything in that competition. They went there and won. And they went there and they knew they could win. And they believed they could win, and they went and done it. And that's, to me, that's the key difference. Yes, Chelsea may have got better strength in depth. If you want to look at it like that, I think if you look at the first 11 for first 11, I don't think there's much difference, really. You know, not really. They've got one or two stronger players in certain areas. We've got one or two stronger players. But to me, it's all 100% about mentality. That's the difference. Chelsea are ruthless. They know what it takes to win, and they'll do anything to win. And they do it when they have to, you know. And that's the one thing that we don't have. We don't have that mentality. I think a lot of it's, yes, okay, there's new players have come into Chelsea since Emma left, but Emma installed that in Chelsea, didn't she? She installed that mentality in them. And those players that's been there through that era, you can see the way that they play. They don't accept anything other than a win. They won't accept it. And now the new players that's come in under Sonia, you can see that's carried on. The new players that are coming in, they've got that same mentality. They're buying players with that mentality, aren't they? That just will win at all costs. And we don't have that. We are maybe too nice. Maybe some of our players are too nice, or too many of them are too nice. We haven't got that killer instinct. We don't have that ruthlessness in the team. And I think tomorrow, ultimately, I think we'll probably go there and play quite well. I do. I think we went there and played quite well last season. In fact, we played really well last season. Unfortunate to maybe lose. And I think it'll be a similar story again. I think we'll go there and we'll play well, but Chelsea will be more ruthless. They'll be more clinical, and we'll lose. I don't think there's much doubt about that. I'll be amazed if there's any other result tomorrow other than us losing, because Chelsea are, I wouldn't necessarily say they're a better team than us, but they know how to get the job done, and we don't. We can't do it often enough, which isn't a great feeling, knowing or expecting us to lose a game. It's not very often that happens, but in this particular case, I cannot see any other result. I don't think we'll score against them. They're not even the best defensively, actually, Chelsea. They conceded a few goals, but I can't see us scoring against them. I just can't see us scoring against them. We've only scored one goal away at Chelsea in about the last 5 or 6 seasons, and that was Kim Little's late goal, and we was already 3-0 down in that Sockgate game. The goal that didn't even matter. So I don't know. I mean, Andreas, have you got any more? Are you any more optimistic about tomorrow? Because I'm not. I think we'll lose.
No, I'm not. And I wouldn't say that we're going to lose, but Chelsea is going to win. because they are so confident. And this result on Wednesday, winning 1-0 against Man City away, a boost for their self-confidence. And I agree that the 11 versus 11 players, maybe the quality is not different, but if you look at the whole squad, then the Chelsea squad is much better. And we were complaining about injuries or missing Leah, now missing Kyra, missing Chloe. Chelsea is missing Natalie Bjorn as a centre back. She's out for a few weeks now, and Khadija Buchanan was out with ACL. She's just coming back. I think she hasn't played, or if she played, then a few minutes only. They are missing Kira Walsh due to undisclosed injury. They are missing Myra Ramirez for the whole first part of the season. Aggie Beaver-Jones was out. And what they are still performing, they are still scoring goals, they are still winning games, and you can't predict how they will start. With which team Sonja will start tomorrow? I don't know. There are so many options or alternatives. Is Vicky Kaptein starting or Sjoke Nusken? Is Ujin Kanoid starting or Kat Macario? Does she start with Sam Kerr or with Aggie Beaver-Jones? So many options and so many different players. They bring so many different opportunities, and it's so difficult for for Arsenal or for Renee to develop tactics against Chelsea when you don't know which player is starting, with which system are they starting. So the squad depth is fantastic for Chelsea, and they are ruthless in the transfer market. Maybe it's a way we don't want to have our club doing. Look at all the players they bought: Mara Alba, Bernabé, Jean-Francois. They all are out on loan or moved on. They are signing players, and if they don't perform, they send them on loan or send them away. Maika Hamano, a fantastic player, this young Japanese. She's out on loan at Spurs. We would be happy to have a player like Maika Hamano on the bench. So for me, the squad depths make the difference, and Chelsea has a better run, has more confidence, and I'm also convinced they will win tomorrow. I don't want to lose there, and I would be happy if we take 1 point, or if we can grab the win, would be fantastic, but it would be a surprise. And the other sad thing is, it's not the biggest match in the WSL anymore, because we are third. Maybe tomorrow or in a week we are on 5th position. Chelsea is second. The big game is at the moment Man City against Chelsea. These are the top teams. They are paving the way at the moment, and we are making one step back, another step backwards. It's a big game, but for the neutral fans, it's not the biggest game of the WSL anymore. And it would be a surprise if Arsenal would be able to win at Stamford Bridge. It's sad, but that's the situation right now.
It would, it would be. I think it would be a shock. I do still feel it's the biggest game in the WSL. Still, I still think it is, because of historically and the rivalry and stuff like that. I do still think it is. Yes, it isn't quite this season. We've dropped away a little bit. It's not even the top two playing each other as it often is when we play Chelsea. Now it's second against third at the start of the day, rather than first against second as it normally is. So I still think that it's still the game that attracts the most attention in the WSL. I think Man City would need to start winning a lot more trophies on a regular basis for that to become, for Man City against Chelsea to become a bigger game. I still think that Arsenal-Chelsea is. So, and I do think from a neutral perspective, most people will watch that game tomorrow because it's Arsenal against Chelsea. And I do think that's still got that interest there, even though it's not quite as important a game in terms of the league title maybe for us as it has been. But Yeah, it would almost be a shock, and that seems strange. Arsenal to win a game is a shock because it wouldn't normally be most times, but I think it would be tomorrow. And realistically, what we're going to need is we're going to need a Barcelona Champions League final type of performance, aren't we? Everything's going to have to be right. We're going to have to get it right tactically. We're going to have to carry out the game plan exactly right. And everybody's going to have to be on top of their game to have any chance. And I'm not saying that's not possible. It was possible in May. We went into that game, we were massive underdogs. I think all of us thought we were going to lose, and we managed to find a way to win. So it wouldn't be completely impossible that we can't do the same tomorrow. But I'm not expecting that's going to happen. There's not enough of our recent performances to convince me that we can go and do that tomorrow, that we can go as Chelsea tomorrow and give a Champions League final type performance or an away in Lyon type performance. I don't think that's not going to happen. I'll be surprised. I'm really surprised if it does. I think we'll play well, but it won't be enough. It won't be good enough because to beat Chelsea, playing well is not good enough generally. You've got to either get very lucky, like Everton a few weeks ago before Christmas when they beat them, or you've just got to play unbelievably. Everybody's got to be a 10 out of 10 performance in the whole team. So, yeah, I'm not confident either. I've got to be honest. I'll be surprised if we get anything from the game tomorrow. But, the reason why we love football is because it is unpredictable and strange results do happen. And, that's if we all knew what the score was going to be before we started, there'd be no point watching any game, would there? But it's live sport. Anything can happen in that 90 minutes. Chelsea could get a player sent off after 2 minutes. And then suddenly, they've got 88 minutes to play with 10 players, and we've suddenly got a massive advantage. Not that we took advantage of that against Man United the other week, but anyway, anything can happen in football, can't it? We could get a penalty, few minutes in, go 1-0 up. Chelsea get a player sent off. We get a penalty. We're 1-0 up. They're down to 10 players. Anything can happen. That would be the dream scenario, wouldn't it? First 5 minutes, the goalkeeper gets sent off, commits a professional foul. We get a penalty, go 1-0 up. They're down to 10 players. They've got their reserve goalkeeper in. They're the sort of things that would need to happen for me for us to win that game. And it could happen, couldn't it? Let's be honest. But yeah, I don't think it's going to. If I'm honest, we hope for the best always, and you want to hope that a miracle can happen, and it almost needs a miracle, doesn't it, tomorrow? But yeah, I don't think it will. I think it will be a reasonably close game because it generally is most of the time. I know that year with the Sox, it was a terrible performance from Arsenal, but not often, that we perform like that against them, do we? A couple of times here and there. I think it'll be a tight, close game. There won't be much in it, but I just think ultimately Chelsea's ruthlessness is going to be the difference, and they'll win. Probably 1-0, 2-1. We might even sneak a goal, 2-0. It'd be something like that. I'm not expecting many goals, if I'm honest. I don't think it's going to be a goal feast of a 4-3 or a 3-2 or anything like that. I think it's going to be a tight game, and Chelsea will win. And that'll be that. Title gone, top 4 in trouble. And that's, I think, how it's going to finish. I mean, what will be your score predictions, Martin, Andreas?
Well, I say 3-1 Chelsea, unfortunately. Yeah, they are going to win and dominate the game. And I think we'll have a good performance from us, but not good enough. And it's 3-1 to Chelsea. And as I said last week, for the United game, I hope I'm wrong, but my feeling says it won't be a good afternoon for us tomorrow.
No. I mean, and to be honest with you, I know it's never going to be easy against Chelsea ever, but I must admit, I can't remember the last time we were heading into a game against Chelsea and I didn't think we could get a result. I've always been convinced we could, but this time I'm not. It's the first time I can remember a long time. All those games we played against Chelsea in recent years, I've always felt we can get something here before the game. I've never been this kind of I've never lacked this much confidence in our hope of getting a result in a game against them, to be honest with you. But who knows? Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that will prove to be, the players will rise to the occasion like they have done before. LG says Chloe Kelly looks to be back in training. We've missed her so badly. I believe some of our draws would have been wins with her. Yeah, maybe you're right. I think she'll be fit to play tomorrow, unfortunately. Greg says if we come away losing 4-1, we've done well. I wouldn't say we've done well if we lose 4-1, but I kind of get your point. It could be worse, I guess, but I don't know. I'm not expecting it to be a game like that. I think that we'll compete, but that ultimately proved to be too strong. Greg says we'd never get a penalty. The referees are always Chelsea's 12th. Well, yeah, that's true. Actually, I was being a little bit optimistic there, wasn't I? To think we'd get a penalty. That's away at Chelsea. That's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. Lethal Chicken says Sonia is a very good tactician. Yeah, of course she is. She's one of the best tacticians in the game, isn't she? But that's, if you get one of the best managers, that's one thing that you get in as well, aren't you? And if you get a manager that maybe hasn't got that experience, you're not going to get that, are you? That's the difference as well. So Top Shelf's gone 3-1 Chelsea. They're back healthy. Yeah, again, I can't really argue with that. I think Chelsea can adapt. Arsenal can't. Rene has a formation and doesn't deviate from it. Arsenal are too predictable. Yeah, again, difficult to argue with any of that. Greg says we'll definitely lose tomorrow by at least 3 goals. Well, I wouldn't disagree with you necessarily. I personally think it'll be a closer game than that, and I don't think we'll fall apart, but obviously we'll lose. Greg says very unlikely we'll get anything, especially with Lotta Ruben-Moy playing the ball to the opposition like I did against United. Well, I don't know if she'll do that again. LG says that how do you expect to win the WSL having the same core of players who have failed for the past 7 years? It doesn't make any sense. Well, yeah, it doesn't, and we're not winning the WSL, are we, at the moment? But let's see what happens. Matthew says if it's May, Cadena and a new goalkeeper at the back, we would be screwed. Well, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, those 3 have been excellent ways. So, well, yeah, no, I kind of agree with you, but I don't think that will be played. Cadena won't be playing tomorrow, will she? Yeah, it feels wrong, and it feels bad to be this sort of negative about the result tomorrow, but it's difficult to feel too positive. The way Chelsea have been playing, the results they've been getting, compare that to how we've been playing. It doesn't. I know. Okay, we've only lost one of our last 8, 9 games, whatever it is. Then that was the other night, but we've not been convincing, have we? In most of them, the performances, too many draws, not scoring enough goals. Yeah, sorry. I think Chelsea will win, and yeah, let's hope I'm wrong, but I'm not confident that I will be. So yeah, barring some sort of strange event that happens tomorrow, that'll be maybe 2 defeats in a row, of course, heading into this new Champions Cup competition, which is going to be quite interesting. Of course, we play the first game of a semi-final on Wednesday at Brentford. Now, I've got to be honest, I don't know anything about this ASFAR, whatever they're called, other than that they're from Morocco, I think. I don't know anything about them, how good they are, what we're likely to expect. I would imagine we're going to start as favourites to beat them, especially as the game's in London and, they've had a long travel and stuff like that. Do you know too much about them, Andreas? Because I don't think I know anything about them at all.
No, I don't know anything about them. They are from Rabat in Morocco, and if you look at the international table, Morocco is not really competitive in women's football. So, it's a different if you play in Africa or you come to Europe and have to play there. So it's home advantage for us, even it's not our home stadium, but we are playing in London, in Europe, and they are coming a long way. And I think even our B team should be strong enough. There will be heavy rotation, I think, of this game after the Chelsea game. And we should be strong enough to beat Far and go to the final. I'll be at Brentford. I can't make it for the Gotham game. This is in the afternoon. I'm only there for the Arsenal game against Far, and I hope to see a win. Yeah, and then I'll be there at the Emirates next Sunday, either for the 3rd place or for the final. I hope for the final, whether it's the Brazilian team or Gotham. Let's see. But far from Morocco, we should be too strong for them. And yeah, my prediction is I'm optimistic. I say 3-0 to the Arsenal, and this will be a confidence boost for the final for us and the chance to win this trophy. Yeah, it's a trophy, it's a cup, so let's win it. It's in London, it's home advantage. Let's win it, and don't say it's just another FIFA competition to make more money and not important. Well, as far as the season develops for us, we should take any chance to win something and to get the confidence from winning a cup. So yeah, I would be totally disappointed if we lose against Far in Brentford. No, we are winning 3-0.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm a little bit more confident about this game than I am about the Chelsea game. But that's not too difficult, really, is it? But then having said that, I don't know anything about them. You know, yes, you're right. Morocco aren't one of the superpowers of world women's football, are they? So you wouldn't expect they're going to be fantastic. But who knows? They'll be unpredictable, that's for certain. They'll probably play a strange sort of style that we're not used to playing against. And who knows? That they're bound to have one or two decent players, I would have thought. So international footballers. So, you know, I don't think it's going to be an interesting game, because it's nice to see opposition like this that we don't play against, the style of play, all that kind of stuff. So I think that it's going to be an interesting game. Yes, we should be far too strong, realistically. Even if we rotate our team, we should still have far too much for them. And we should win. Yeah, I mean, 3-0 seems a fairly, even though we're not scoring many goals, that does seem to be a fairly decent prediction against a team that we should beat pretty comfortably. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if you're right about that at all. Ryan says, as far as we know, not a lot. Exactly. Yeah, we don't know anything about them at all. No, it's nothing at all. Greg says it will be a close game. We're not competitive in our league either. Well, we are competitive, I suppose. We're not competitive enough. Greg says, we're on penalties. What, on Wednesday? No, we won't win. We'll win. We'll win in normal way on Wednesday, I'm sure. We'll bang in a few goals as well. Be nice. It might be, like you said, it could be a good opportunity to gain some confidence again. You know, a nice big win. But then, you know, we played Crystal Palace, didn't we, before Christmas in the FA Cup, and we scored 2 goals against them, and one of them was the last kick of the game. You know, so it's not like, even against the weaker teams, we're not exactly scoring loads of goals, are we? But it would be nice to have a bit of a confidence boost and win that game fairly easily, and then look forward to the final on Sunday, potentially against Gotham, which will be an interesting game again. That'll obviously be a bigger test. But yeah, it is a trophy, and, you know, I wouldn't look on it like the other trophies, in the sense that, you know, to win the FA Cup, you've got to go through lots of different rounds. To win the league, you've got to go through 22 games. To win the Champions League, you've got all these 2-legged games to go through. To win this, we've only got to win 2 games. I suppose a bit like the Subway Cup in that sense. Maybe there's not many games we have to play in that either, is there? But I don't know. I mean, look, it's a competition. It's the first time it's been held. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, for us to be the first ever winners of it, if nothing else. It's something to put on. You know, it's a big achievement for the club to be the first winners of anything, the first time they hold a competition. So yeah, let's win it. Absolutely, let's go out and win it. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to save our season, is it? If we win it, or, you know, it's not going to. If it's the only thing that we win is that, I still don't think it will be a successful season. We need to win one of the other trophies that we're in, the FA Cup, the Champions League, or the WSL, which we'll know more about that tomorrow. But that won't be enough. Just winning that isn't enough. But let's win it anyway, because why not? It's a competition. We're in it. LG says, this trophy could save our otherwise bad season. We need a FIFA badge on our chest. The problem is we'll not beat Gotham playing like we've been playing. Well, I mean, I don't think it would save our season. I don't think it would. I don't think so. We need more than that. But let's win it anyway, and then worry about the rest of it afterwards. But no, I kind of agree. We'd have to play well against Gotham. If it is Gotham, get through. If we get through, let's get through first. No, let's not be over optimistic, and then let's start looking ahead to the final already. We're not there yet. Let's get there first, and then we can worry about the final. But you're right, we'll have to play a lot better. Of course we will. LG says, I disagree. To be in the competition, you have to win the Champions League, which is hard in itself. Yeah, but that's from last season, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like saying, well, in the very, very early days of the FA Cup, when it first started in 1800s, the winners got a bye to the following season's final, right? So you could say, well, you have to win the FA Cup and you're in the final. But that doesn't make it any more of an achievement, does it? I don't think it does. And the fact you have to win it to be in it, yes. I mean, you don't have to win the Champions League because AS4, whatever it is, they didn't win the Champions League, did they? They won the African Cup, whatever it's called. But I don't know. I don't think that makes it any more of a worthy competition. You know, when you look at the opposition, the teams that's in it, they're not exactly, you know, the top teams in world football, are they? Let's be honest. They're not. The Champions League is harder to win. And rightly so. This has got 2 games. We've got 2 games to win, and that's it. And one of them's against a team that we've never even heard of. You know, so let's be honest. Anyway, Courtyard Criminal says, RIP Arsenal from a Chelsea fan. Promise it will be painless. Well, I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. It won't be painless, that's for certain. It's going to be painful for us, without a doubt. But anyway, let's see what you never know. You never know. But no, I mean, I think Wednesday will win, yeah, fairly comfortably, and then we can look forward to obviously the final next weekend, which it's a nice distraction to have at the moment, I think, with the way the season's been panning out. Obviously, we're out of one cup already. We could well be out of the WSL finally tomorrow for good. So I think this is a nice distraction to have. And yeah, it's a trophy at the end of the day. So we're Arsenal, let's win it. Absolutely, let's win it. But as I said, if that's all we end up with, it's not enough, is it? I mean, do you think that if this is what happens and we end up with only this trophy, should we win it and nothing else, would you say that's been a successful season? Because I don't think it would be.
No, absolutely not. I just checked the squad from Asfar, and they have nearly only Morocco players. So no player from let's say Brazil or other countries, and their coach is from Portugal. So and currently they are only on 2nd position in the Moroccan league. So it's not that threat from that's going out from them. Once again, we should win it, but well, if we win it, we can say, oh, we are club world champions, so it's the biggest trophy possible that we have won. And if we don't win it, let's say it's only a Mickey Mouse Cup, it doesn't matter. So yeah, no, I want to win it. And when we talk next Friday hopefully about the final, then we will know whether we have to play Corinthians or Gotham. Then let's focus on the final or on the next game. But yeah, so far let's first look on Wednesday, on tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, and go through it. Yes, it's a FIFA competition, and we are only allowed to play in this Champions Cup or Club World Cup because we have won the Champions League, and no other European team, Barcelona, Chelsea, Lyon, they are not in Brentford next week because they haven't qualified. So it's a good thing for us to play there, and it would be a confidence boost for us if we go through, if we win this competition. But just imagine we go out against Far on Wednesday. Our season would be destroyed, and I think the confidence of the team would be below everything. So this can't happen. No, yeah, let's win it, and let's take the competition serious. I hope the team does take this serious and wants to win. There's no WSL game until 7th or 8th March, the City game. But after Chelsea, let's concentrate on this competition, as new as it is. Let's concentrate on this and let's try to win it. We need it for the confidence of the team to win, and imagine we win it, then we go in the last part of the season as club world champions and having won a trophy. This might help for the WSL too, and for the FA Cup. That's it.
And the Champions League.
I for the Champions League, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to win it. Absolutely, of course, I want to win it. We're in it. Let's win it. I say to be the first team to win that would be something special. And yeah, you know, all those big names in Europe, we're the first one to get that chance, and let's do it. Absolutely, let's win it. But that alone, to me, isn't a successful season. Of course, your criminal says there. Feels like Arteta after winning the FA Cup and then finishing 8th twice, then 5th, then 2nd. Now you'll win the Prem. I think same applies with Rene from an outsider point of view. I mean, you could be right, and I can see the similarities. And in fact, I've mentioned this before, that it is very similar in a way. You know, obviously Rene was a number 2, Arteta was a number 2 before he became manager at Arsenal, won a trophy very quickly and then struggled a little bit to rebuild. You could say that's kind of maybe that's where Rene is right now. You know, won a trophy really quickly and now has been struggling this season to rebuild. Let's hope we don't, you know, quite drop down as low as that before coming back, because I don't think we can really afford to do that. But I kind of get your point. I agree 100%. I've kind of felt that anyway, that Arsenal seem to go down that route. We you know, we stuck by Arteta when we could easily have sacked him 3 or 4 times earlier on in his career. Absolutely, we could have done. And maybe they're going to do the same with Rene. Maybe they're going to do the same with Rene. But I have to say, if we lose to this Moroccan team on Wednesday, then Rene should be sacked, quite honestly. If we lose to them on Wednesday, then I don't think she should be hanging around any longer. But I don't think that's going to happen, let's be honest. LG says, don't forget, we're always a qualifier for the first ever FIFA Women's Club World Cup in 2028. Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, at the end of the day, we are what we're always top, aren't we, of everything. Respectfully, I think winning the Champions Cup and the FA Cup would be underwhelming for you guys, judging that you won the Champions League last year. To be honest, I think with Jodie and Rene feels like a project start. Yeah, to a certain degree, I suppose you're right. Again, I kind of agree with that. I think maybe winning the Champions League was far too early in a project, if that's what it is. Much too early. You don't, if you're going to win something, win the FA Cup as your first trophy, like Arteta did, or win the Subway Cup, something like that, and you can build from there. I think going straight in with the Champions League puts a lot more pressure on everybody, and I don't think that's helped this season. But we won it, and it's fantastic. But I don't know, if we do win this Champions Cup and win the FA Cup, I think I'll be reasonably happy with the season, actually, compared to where we are right now. We're off the pace in the league. We're not going to win the league realistically. Whatever happens tomorrow, yes, okay, a win tomorrow would make us feel a bit differently about it, but ultimately we're still quite a long way behind Man City. We're out of the League Cup now, so the Champions League, winning that back to back with this group of players, with this manager right now, I don't think it's possible. So I think winning the FA Cup, winning the Champions Cup now would probably be about the best we can hope for, if I'm honest, realistically, and I'll be okay with that. I would be, if it's just the Champions Cup, it's not good enough. If we win the FA Cup as well, I'd say, yeah, that's okay. It's not fantastic and it needs to be more, but that would be an okay season for me. 1 trophy last season, 2 trophies this season. It's a step in the right direction, and hopefully we can build on that for next season and go further and challenge more for the title. But let's see we have to win this first. Otherwise, we can't even talk about it. Let's do it first. But I think the Champions Cup and the FA Cup would be okay. Would you agree with that, Andreas? Or again, do you think that's maybe? I mean, obviously, it's not really enough, I suppose, in the overall scheme of things. But where we are right now, I'll take that.
I have to choose between the FA Cup and qualification for next Champions League. I would take the number 3 spot in the league. This is more important, I think, to be in the Champions League again. We said it, we have a big transfer summer ahead of us, and how can you convince top players to come to a club that's not playing in the Champions League? So for me, it would be 3rd place in the WSL and winning this Champions Cup. That's okay. FA Cup, would be fantastic to be at Wembley, but we should concentrate on the league. The 3rd place is so important, and if we lose tomorrow, then we don't play next weekend, and it could happen that we fall 5 points behind Man United, just by not playing. And then we play City. We could lose against City. Then 8 points behind United. Oh, the league is gone. No, don't throw away the league. The third place there is much more important for me.
Yes, I don't know if it's more important. It's important, absolutely, and I don't necessarily think we need to choose one or the other. We should have a squad big enough and good enough to be able to compete to finish top three and win the FA Cup or get to the final. I think we should have we've got a good enough squad, I think, to be able to do that. I don't think we need to say, well, let's concentrate just on the FA Cup and don't worry about it. I think we should be looking at concentrating on all of it, really. And certainly, you're right. We have to finish in the top three, absolutely. We need to do that, and I'm fairly sure that we will. Yes, we've got a couple of tough games in a row in the league now. Chelsea and Man City, tough at the top two teams we've got to play now in consecutive league games in between all this other Champions Cup stuff. So it's not ideal in that sense, but Man United are going to have got tough games to come as well, so they're probably going to drop some points equally. So everyone's got to play the same games. Chelsea, Man United have got to play Chelsea again, still haven't they? They've got to play Man City again. So just like we have. So let's, I'm not going to worry too much about. I think we're good enough to finish top three. We're third at the minute. And I think we will finish at least third. I'm fairly confident about that. So I think we can do that and win the FA Cup and win the Champions Cup, and that would be an all right season for me. I'd be fairly happy with that, and I think that wouldn't be a bad way to follow up last season. It wouldn't. It's not still quite enough, is it? Because we want to be challenging for that league title a lot more strongly. We want to be in a position next season. We said that last season, I suppose. We want to be in a position next season where if we don't win the WSL, at least we're there competing all the way through to the end of the season, which we haven't really done since Jonas's first season, really, when we took it to the last game. We haven't done that since. And although we finished second last year, we was never in title race from really early on in the season, were we? So next season, we have to do that. We have to be challenging for that title next season. If we win it or not, ultimately isn't necessarily the be all and end all. It's challenging for it. Being there next season, we have to, because we haven't done it enough recently at all. So that's got to be the next step for this season. For now, where we are now, yes, top three, absolutely. FA Cup, yes, and win this little trophy as well this week as well. And that'll be for me. That'll do me for this season. Right now, this would do. It wouldn't have done if you'd said that in August at the start of the season. I said no, we should be winning the WSL this season. But now, where we are and where the season's gone so far, I would take that and think that would be okay. And yeah, hopefully rebuild a bit more in the summer and we'll put a challenge in. Of course, our criminal says, I do think if Spurs finish above you, don't think that will sit well with Arsenal fans, especially in Martin Hosberg. No, yeah, absolutely, it won't. Regardless of whether they've got a new manager in his first season or not, finishing below Spurs would be a disaster, let's be honest. I don't think we will, personally. I don't think Spurs are quite there yet, are they, for a top three kind of push. Maybe in the next couple of seasons they might be able to, the way they're going, the way they're improving. But then again, everybody's improving as well, aren't they? Except us, maybe. But we've still got time, I suppose. Ryan says, always next season with Arsenal, it all start. Well, yeah, it seems to be. But I mean, right now, we're halfway through this season, and we already know we're definitely out of one cup. We're almost certainly out of the league, barring a miracle run of results. Well, we need to beat Chelsea and then beat Man City in those two games, and who knows. But as things stand right now, we're pretty much out of that as well. We can only go off what's left for this season. Let's do the best that we can this season. Let's at least get one of the big trophies in the cupboard. And then hopefully, you're right, next season we'll try and do it again better. But yeah, there you go. I mean, Greg says, I think we'll be lucky to finish fourth, very possibly fifth. No, I think we'll finish third. I do. I honestly think we will finish third. But we've got work to do, absolutely. But I think we'll do it. I really do. And I think maybe if I don't necessarily want us to go out of the Champions League at, say, the quarterfinals, for example, but if we did, I think that would clear the path for the FA Cup and the league for the rest of the season to get that top three and get to the FA Cup final. Because I don't think we can win the Champions League again. As much as I'd love to to do it, I don't think we can. I don't think this team's got back-to-back Champions Leagues in it. We're not a Lyon or a Barcelona, are we? We're not that good. So I don't think it's possible. So if we got knocked out of that reasonably early, then it's going to leave a clear run through for the league and the FA Cup, and that'll be good, and we'll get top 3, no problem. So yes, it's a big week, isn't it? Let's be honest, it is a big week, and although we're not very optimistic about tomorrow, it's still a massive game, and we still want to win, and it's going to be tense and exciting, I'm sure, as it always is against Chelsea. No doubt it will be quite a physical game, as you would expect, But we've beaten Chelsea plenty of times, haven't we, in recent years in cup finals? We've beaten them. Remember that 4-1 at the Emirates a couple of years ago. I know we were playing totally differently then to what we are now, but I don't know. Let's hope for the best, but I'm not expecting too much tomorrow. But it's a big week. Let's get this Champions Cup thing won. Let's go and get it won. Absolutely, let's win it. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? A nice little new trophy to put on that cabinet, along with all the other great trophies that we've won over it. It'll look nice. When next to the Champions League, it will look nice sitting next to that, won't it? In the cupboard, it will look nice. And obviously, we can show it off. Not that we'll be, well, mind you, we might be playing Chelsea in the Champions League, so we can show it off to them, can't we? We can say, this is the Champions League that you've never won. This is the World Club Cup that you've never won. Do you know what I mean? We can rub it in their faces a bit more, can't we? But let's hope we beat them tomorrow. That'd be nice. So yes, it's not been a great week, really. It could have been worse. Obviously, we could be out of the FA Cup as well. But yeah, the performances still need to be improved. Let's be honest. With a big test we've got to come in the next few weeks, and obviously between now and the end of the season, it's going to be tough. So we need to improve. But yeah, let's look forward to this exciting week with some big games, and maybe we can end the week like next weekend with a nice little trophy. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? And another one in the cupboard. There you go, brilliant. Courtois says, take it easy. And yourself, my friend, thanks for joining us. Obviously, I hope you enjoy the game tomorrow, which I'm sure you'll probably enjoy it more than we will, to be honest with you. But who knows? Andreas with us says, come on, you Gunners, win against Chelsea tomorrow for sure. Oh, well, at least one of us is confident that we'll win tomorrow. I'm not too sure two other people were, but anyway, you never know, dear. Andreas says, Sweden, great match. They have a great match in Hamburg, did they? Oh, they must have won, I'm assuming. Let's hope you're right tomorrow. Let's hope we can beat Chelsea. Let's hope we can. But yeah, I'm not expecting it. But yes, it's going to be a big week. It's going to be a good week, and we'll be back to discuss it all next week. I will try and do the game tomorrow. The 12:30 kickoffs on a Saturday are never the best time, but I want to try and make a big effort tomorrow because I think it's going to be an exciting occasion, a big occasion it always is. So I'll try and get here for that game tomorrow. So hopefully that will happen and you can join me for that. Otherwise, of course, we'll be back next week to look back on the Chelsea game, to look back on the semi-final of the Champions Cup, and hopefully look ahead to the final, which hopefully we'll be in, and see who we'll be playing. So that'll be good. I like this comment here. You guys will be singing Champions of Europe. Of course, we'll be singing Champions of Europe. You'll never sing. Of course, we'll be singing that tomorrow. Absolutely, for the whole of the 90 minutes, probably. It's all good fun, isn't it? You've got a few titles of your own to taunt us with, I'm sure. Ryan says Chelsea can't sing that. No, they can't. Exactly. No, they can't. So we need to make the most of it this season, don't we? So let's make sure we do sing it tomorrow for 90 minutes and let them know that they might win a WSL every season for the last 10 years and they might win everything else, but they haven't won that, and we have, and we've got it now. So let's make the most of that and let's have some fun with that tomorrow, even if the game might not necessarily be that much fun. But we're looking forward to it anyway. So hopefully I'll be here for that one tomorrow. So join me for that. And of course, next week we will be looking back on the week again. Andreas, great to have you with us again. Have you enjoyed the show? Again, maybe not too positive, but we can only go off what we're given, and we're not given much to be positive about at the minute, are we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's it. We have to be critical, and right now the situation isn't the best, so we have to talk about this. And I enjoyed being on the show. Yeah. Looking forward to the Chelsea and the ASFAR game, and then next Friday on the show I will join from my hotel room because I'm staying in London for both games. Would be stupid to fly home on Thursday and then come again for the weekend. So I will join in from hotel room with another background, of course. But anyway, I'll be there for the show.
That's fine. I'm actually away as well next Friday. We're going away next weekend. So I'll be from a different location as well. So that'll be good, won't it? So that's going to be interesting. So yeah, next week is going to be good. Thank you to all you guys in the comments again, as always, as well. Good to see you all. It says, good night, have a great weekend. And yourself, hopefully we might see you for the game tomorrow. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Of course, I say all your comments, as always, good, interesting stuff, for good things to debate as well, which is what we like. And yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow. Let's turn this season around. Let's go and beat Chelsea tomorrow, and let's go on a run for the rest of the season and see where it takes us. Because we've already proven, haven't we? Last year, it's unpredictable football. Anything can happen. It starts tomorrow. The season starts tomorrow. Get that win. Then we go from there, win everything else, and let's do it. So enjoy the games. If you are at Stamford Bridge tomorrow, make sure that you sing Champions of Europe nice and loud for 90 minutes and let them know. Let them know, even if they beat us tomorrow, let them know that they'll never be Champions of Europe. Well, not for the time being anyway. And they won't be this season because we'll have to play them and knock them out. So they won't. They'll have to wait another year, won't they? So yeah, that's going to be good tomorrow. It will be a good game. Let's hope Arsenal do us proud tomorrow, and who knows, anything is possible, isn't it? So yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Thank you to Andreas, of course, as always. Thank you to you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow for the game against Chelsea. It's going to be good. Come on, you Gunners. Let's do it, eh? The season starts tomorrow. Let's get it done. See you later, guys.